Hi, this is Jeff with the Star Herald. I'm here today with Cassie Lee of Western Nebraska Pioneers. Hi, Cassie. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you originally from?
So I'm originally from Castle Rock, Colorado. I just graduated from Gonzaga University, so up in Washington, and then I'm headed out to Florida State for grad school.
And what was your field of study at Gonzaga?
I graduated with 2 degrees. One was business with a concentration in marketing, and then sport management. And then at Florida State, I'll focus on sport administration.
So what brought you here to the Pioneers? I know this is your second year. What brought you out here the first year?
Yeah, so I needed 2 internships with Gonzaga. Kind of already had to, working with our athletic department, but could always use more experience just to try and build up the resume. So I looked at jobs on our job application board website, basically, and saw this, applied for it, got the job on the spot, and kind of just came. Loved it last year, so came back.
What was, when you saw the ad, was there anything specific kind of appealed to you?
Yeah, I had just started working with college baseball at Gonzaga, but didn't think I could do it full time. And so I was like, let's do it full time and see if it's actually a sport I could want to get into. And yeah, I ended up loving it. Could do it full time now, but yeah, it just kind of drew me in. It was close enough to home as well that I could drive home on a weekend if I chose to. Not something I could really do during the school year.
Yeah. So coming back for the second year, was that kind of the thought too, is you could go home on the weekends and see family?
Yeah, I took on a lot more responsibility with work this past year, so I was only home for 11 days actually throughout the school year. And then going to Florida State, obviously opposite end of the country. Yeah. But I was like, I can sit at home and work at a retail job or show that I can get hired back and do the same job. Also got in really close contact with some of our host families from last year, so it was good to be able to see them again.
Yeah. Did you have this? Do you have the same host family this year, or is it?
I do. Same host family, same host families that I hang out with. Got to know a couple more, but yeah, tight knit community out here, so it's been awesome.
So who is your host family?
I stay with the Prestons. Sherry Preston and Dave Cook, and then they have 2 daughters, 2 sons. The 2 sons don't stay here full time. Yeah, 2 cats. Yeah. Full house, but no, it's been awesome.
Yeah. So as an intern, what are your responsibilities here?
Yeah. So I'm technically one of our 4 baseball operations interns. I do everything player related. So anything from uniforms to making sure they have food and water in the dugout before. With a couple of our other interns helping out with that as well. But making sure they have walkout songs, they're ready to travel. If anything breaks on the road, they have extras there. Dietary restrictions are met. And then during the physical game, I also help with music. As for outside of the game, I do a lot of community relations and promotions with our players, so getting them into libraries. We do a lot with buckboard therapy every Tuesday. Making them be seen at events, I guess, and not just on the field when you want an autograph, but getting them out. Yeah.
You know, you mentioned music for the players. They each have their own song they like to come out to when they go up to bat.
Yeah. But now that they all know that I do it, they try to change it. So that keeps it interesting. But, I mean, it's all the same walkout song, unless one of them wants to mess with the other, and I do it for the first time.
So are you then the one responsible for the music that we hear in the background as well?
I am. I'm trying to learn more of it because I feel like I do a lot of repetition currently, but I do a lot with the players that I haven't been able to maneuver my way around the whole computer yet.
Yeah. And you mentioned some responsibilities, like when they're on the road. What are you responsible for when the players are on the road?
Yeah, so I help with social media, so just making sure videos are out, people can interact with them, whether it's their university, their parents, girlfriends, siblings, anything like that, but they see the physical play because a lot of people don't watch the game. As well as, I got calls today, making sure that they have an itinerary ready when we're there. Yeah. They have food when we're there. Anything that make it as smooth as possible so Antonio and the boys can kind of just show up and everything's ready.
Yeah, and you've mentioned before, too, some of your fellow Gonzaga students also go here. Did that kind of help get you here as well?
Yeah. I didn't know all Zags when I came in. I knew one last year who was actually transferring. And then this year I had heard the name, JT Walden. Didn't really know him. And then obviously we have Alex Zerfus coming in. I knew the name as well, but being an older upperclassman, I didn't know the younger kids as well, especially with COVID. And then heard the name Cade McGee because he's signing. Yeah. But didn't know them personally. But I mean, Gonzaga being such a small school, it's so easy to kind of talk about the community. Their team is so tight knit, and like working with them, I know half the team, so it's easy to build the bond, and I mean, have people from home away from home, I guess.
So having worked now for the Pioneers, are you kind of interested in working in like a management field with or marketing with a major league team, or?
Yeah, still trying to figure it out. I did a couple different areas in Gonzaga's athletic department, so I really like the communications and like player personnel side of it, which I guess is kind of where I think I'm headed. I don't know if it's baseball for sure. Haven't worked in football yet, so that'll be interesting with Florida State, but definitely think I'm headed the pro route, hopefully with the team as opposed to an organization.
Is there a specific sport that you would prefer to work in?
I think currently, like I said, just because of Gonzaga, basketball or baseball.
Yeah.
NFL, I think, is a little more corrupt in my opinion. Baseball is dealing with some issues currently.
Yeah.
I really like the NBA's commissioner, so kind of headed that way, but it's also what can I get into?
Yeah, and are you also considering maybe jobs with any of the major colleges as well, if they have something like that open up?
Yeah, Gonzaga kind of just opened some positions up, and I've talked to them about going back instead of grad school.
Yeah.
But grad school's paid for currently. I'm also a little biased in the sense that I'm used to winning at Gonzaga, so I want a top tier school. But yeah, I mean, I'm open to anything. I'll go anywhere.
Yeah.
Nothing's really holding me back. So
you mentioned that you're going all the way from the West Coast to the far East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
What does anything about that kind of make you nervous?
Yeah. As weird as it sounds, being away from home, I think Washington was closer than Florida. I think the weather will be a change. I've never lived in a coastal area, I guess. Not that Tallahassee is necessarily by the beach, but I've never lived in that. More afraid of the bugs. And then I think the job I got was fairly competitive. And so I've had a couple people be like, oh, you got this job. And it was like instant hate towards me. And so I think just being able to be strong enough to know that I worked to get the job, but also like people are going to hate me for it at the start of it.
Yeah, so what will your position be with Florida State?
So I got a grad assistantship in facilities and event operations within their athletic department. So they usually have 3 people. It's only me this year. So basically just setting up events, anything from football, basketball, soccer, tennis, baseball, and then some of their more exotic sports, which I think they have beach volleyball. I'm pretty positive.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything from like setting up that, or if it's a banquet, but kind of year round, as we can tell, Florida State kind of leads into the long run.
Yeah.
I know they just finished baseball, track, and soccer. So.
Yeah. After spending 2 years here, is there a third year in your future?
I haven't decided yet. I've considered it. It kind of depends on if Florida State needs me. Like I said, they just ended 3 sports, and I'm sure are already headed into football season. So kind of depends on what my role requires of me. But I mean, if it brings me closer to home and I get to see some people again, I'd absolutely be interested.
Yeah. Is there something, or what do you like best about the Scottsbluff Gearing area?
I think the community is something completely different. I've been told that I talk about Gonzaga way too much, and so I think that's a tight-knit community for me where it's everybody knew everybody. If you were a Zag, you're a Zag for life. It's a huge community. And I think that's the same here, where it's like if you work for the Pios, everybody knows you, everybody supports you, whether it's on the field or out. And so it's the community I'm used to. Like I said, it's close enough to home where my parents can come out if they choose to, but I'm far enough away to be alone. But yeah, no, it's been awesome, and I think Gonzaga was my home for 4 years, and this has just slowly turned into it as well.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Hi, this is Jeff Van Pat with the Star Herald. Thank you for joining us.